All right. So we just got done with the hour of power, and my main man, Josh Kerflow Jones, helped me to unlock some serious stuff. In particular, we talked about what's the overarching thing that is driving you, which in my case is setting the example in the four domains to become the impossible man. We started by looking at what's the biggest leak of power, which in my case is marriage. I have some very audacious goals in this next year that I'm really trying to tackle. Josh and I went through that, and he helped me to dissect a lot of the different reasons for what's causing me to do those things and how they spill out into the other domains, and within balance, how it affects my relationship with my kids as well. And just seeing it from the different perspective really helped me just to become clear and to unlock things and to hear things in a way that I haven't heard them before. Several things came up. One of them was the distinction between God and myself, and learning to delineate between the two of those things. And also being very, very careful that I'm listening to myself and not just picking up outside things and beginning to mimic them. And so I think it was very, very helpful because questions were asked in a way that had not been asked me before. And they really helped me to unlock what was actually going on inside so that I could become more clear.
I love
Yeah.
it, brother.
Yeah.
I love it. What would you say to somebody that was looking to do this hour of power today?
I think for somebody who is like really pushing in the domain of being in particular, the spiritual aspect, it's very, very helpful to get clarity. That's the word that keeps coming up to me. Because I can write things, I can meditate, I can do things. But when you have somebody who is unafraid to like go to the depths of those areas with you and actually listen to the context without interrupting and like actually absorbing it and putting it all into the context of who you are as a like a holistic person, like the entire picture, it's really, really helpful, just in terms of seeing patterns that you can't even see within yourself.
Hmm.
I think that's the biggest thing is like you can't, it's really hard as a person to like see things about you. And so when you have somebody who has the ability to actually listen to you, that has no agenda whatsoever, that just like is trying to understand, it's really, really helpful to pick up on those patterns, because again, it begins to unlock things that you can't even, that I don't even understand or that I didn't understand, and now I do, and it's really, really helpful. When I came into this, I was kind of thinking, well, this is going to be like 100% about being,
Hmm.
but it's not, dude. And like I think you were doing really good with like meshing it all together,
Hmm.
and you just kind of like let it flow. And I think you've always been able to do that, man. Like I noticed that about you when we were out there in June. And that's I think I pick up on that because that's something I kind of struggle with. I like to compartmentalize things.
Mhm.
You're not compartmentalizing anything, dude. Like it's all like one thing. And
Right.
it's actually really, really helpful because I think that's kind of what Garrett has been talking about a lot of this time. It's like all these things are like connected, dude. But the
Yeah.
way you do it, it doesn't feel like rigid at all, man. It just kind of like it just flows like naturally, dude. Um, and then I think the way you were able to like, I mean, literally just I can't think of another word, but like dissect those things out and then like show it. and that it really helps my mind because I'm like a big picture kind of dude, right? Like this thing behind me, man. I got a full year calendar, right? I have to see it that way, dude. And so when you do that, I'm like, oh yeah, that makes sense, man. I mean, even in medical school, I had to see like a learning counselor, and they were like, you learn this way, Mike, like big picture, connecting all these different things. And so for me, at least, that was like quite helpful, especially when you're like, well, this is actually what you're after, dude. I'm like, fuck, it is what I'm after, man. I haven't thought about it that way. That's exactly what I'm after. I mean, that's why I called my impossible games this year Impossible Man in Body, Impossible Man in Being, Impossible Man in Balance, Impossible Man in Business, you know? And it's like I'm trying to become that guy. And then what's crazy is when I put all four of them up and I look at them, I'm like, wow, man, dude, that guy's like powerful, man.
Yeah.
You know, but that's what you're like doing in a very like natural way here. It's really, really helpful, dude.
Awesome.
Especially for me as a guy who's like really analytical. It begins to connect dots.